We have already had Obi Sad Kenobi, and now I present to you Old Christensen.
He's a dinosaur. He's like, my spine. Oh, it looks bad. It looks so bad.
He does not look good. This is a flashback too. This is supposed to be young Anakin, and they put in no effort with this whatsoever. Like, somebody made a de-aging thing on YouTube. I'll bring up a comparison here. Like, this is somebody who just put on art filter that took him like 5 seconds in a digital media rendering system. That's it. Disney couldn't even do that. Not to mention too, they didn't even do any makeup on him. When he lights up his lightsaber, you can see the hollows in his eyes. It's like, god damn it.
The wrinkles on his fucking forehead. He's like, I'm gonna get you, Obi Wan. Oh my god.
He does not look at all like himself. Oh Jesus, the years have not been kind. And
Nope.
to be fair, I rewatched the prequels not that long ago, and like even Obi Wan, even Ewan McGregor, years are leaving their mark on him. Absolutely, if you put them side by side, you can see the difference. But Hayden has been particularly unfortunate, mostly because Disney just didn't give a shit, as it turns out. But hey, that's Disney, the minimum amount of effort.
Couldn't even be asked to do that. I mean, considering the quality of the show's writing, the cinematography, the visual and sound presentation of this entire series from every episode thus far, we're not surprised. Even the CGI is actually kind of bare minimum. When you start to look closely, you kind of see the cheapness about it really start to surface.
Yep. Minimum effort really is the byword for this entire episode. So, how do they track the evil rebels? How does the Imperium figure out where they are? Well, it's the infected Lola bot, of course, which, nobody has checked in on. Leia, who's played with this robot for God only knows how long. It's been her eternal companion throughout childhood on this long-ass space voyage with nobody to talk to. She doesn't even look at Lola. Like, Lola's just chilling in her little bag. Nobody cares. Nobody notices anything at all. Plot hole number 1. Then they arrive at their secret hideout base, and Lola, with bloody bright red eyes, like, I'm going to do some sabotage now. And of course, Lola has been given a hacking upgrade since last we saw her, and she's not only able to identify the precise system that operates the sunroof of the rebel base, she's also capable of destroying it and its backup systems so that it can't be opened at all. Oh, and by the way, she's also capable of opening shutters without having any arms or any manipulators or anyways.
That was a beautiful scene. Like, there's a shutter where the cords it needs to cut. The shutter opens and then it closes behind it.
Yes,
like, very convenient. The plot is like, well, the plot needs it to happen. Like, that is the show in a nutshell. The plot calls for something and then it does it, and it's the most stiff and rigid storytelling I've ever seen. Like it's bad.
You can almost see the hand of the extra opening the shutter. As on the set, they go like, right, and then Lola opens the shutter, and everyone looks at the robot, and they look at the shutter, and a moment of embarrassing silence passes until an extra just climbs up on a ladder and opens it like, there you go.
There you go. Get in there. Get in there. Oh my goodness. And it's just the beginning, because we have a lot of revelations to talk about today that are particularly spine-snapping, a character death that are also uninteresting. We're almost grateful at them, actually.
Character death. Who even cares? Nobody cares about these guys. Character's death. Character death. I'm sure she's alive too. But
no one's ever really gone.
To continue the topic of minimum effort, Vader arrives in orbit on his Star Destroyer and goes like, "We have him now, Lord Vader. We have him trapped." And they send down the invasion force, the massed Imperial fist, to crush the rebels. About 50 dudes in 2 transports roundabout. That'll do. I'll do.
And don't worry, these are the 501st, the elite of the elite, right? Right?
No.
These are Vader's, hand-picked troops. They're the best of the best. Most of them are battle-hardened Clone Wars veterans,
No.
No?
No!
Are you sure? Do you
Yes.
have proof of this? You're so...
I'm very sure, because they get their asses handed to them by a bunch of rebels. As the thing is, too, here, they all line up in front of the back entrance. Like, they don't go through the top, or rappel through the top, or use their presumably superior numbers to surround it, or get through other entrances, find other entrances, or drill through the mountain, or use demo charges, or any other thing. No, they just chill outside of a blast door, and they shoot it with a cannon, which does nothing.
It never blows up the door, too. What opens the door? And how do we get to the door opening segment? That's the interesting part. That's the real eye-opener of this episode. The real spine-snappingly painful part of this episode.
Kyle's overexcited, and he needs to be reeled in, because we're not even there yet. Like, none of this is important, Kyle.
This is so important. It's so important because we have some revelations to talk about. Come on, we need to get to those revelations.
No.
You want to. Don't lie to me.
No. Because we need to continue the idea of minimum effort. Because you see, the thing that has been hacked, the fuse box, it's been built in such a way that none of the rebels can actually access it. They're all too big and human-y to get in there, you see. And so, of course, they're like, "Damn it, Obi Wan, I don't understand how we're gonna get in there." And so Leia stands up and goes, "This is a job for Leia." And it is.
And she saves the day because all the adults in the show, whenever Leia's on screen, become basically bubbling idiots. Where they're just there to "Oh, what do we do, sweetie? Oh, what do we do? I don't know how to do anything. Oh, it's real shit. I don't even know how I got to this planet, honestly, without Leia here." Criminy, none of these people have any agency when Leia's on screen. Like, they just become brain-dead idiots.
They do, but fear not, because Leia's going to need a ladder. And the one intelligent person in the room goes like, "Child, you don't even know what's in there. Like, you have no idea about the base layout, you have no idea about our internal security, you have no idea about the functionality of any of this shit, this home-wired gaffer tape, and... No, I'm gonna stop there.
It hurts.
I'm gonna stop there. But Leia needs a ladder, and there you go. That's the problem solved. Leia needs a ladder.
Don't worry, Leia's an expert mechanic. Good thing that our little princess here was taught how to deal with jury-rigged fucking backwater technology.
Very fortunate, as the guy who built this said like, "Yeah, I'll need 3 to 4 hours to reboot this, Kenobi." Kenobi goes like, "You have an hour." And he goes, "That's unreasonable." And he doesn't do it, of course, but Leia fixes it about 5 odd minutes.
Yep, Leia's even better. She's like, "Actually, I'm a Mary Sue. Excuse me while the plot just bends to my will." And that's kind of what this always feels like with her.
Yet further, we're not even done with the expediencies. No.
Nope.
Because then, Obi Wan Kenobi pulls out his mobile phone as he receives an SMS message from... Who is calling him in the middle of this stupid secret mission?
Bail Organa, he's like the nagging, quest giver in this goddamn show.
Literally, he pops up on his little Nokia and was like, "Obi-Wan, I haven't heard from you in a while, so I decided to try and nag you like a needy girlfriend. I know it's incredibly risky for me to contact you, and I even mentioned so, but I'm really worried, okay? So if you don't bring Leia back soon, well, I'm gonna have to go for Luke." You threatening me, bitch.
I'm gonna go kill Luke, by the way, if you don't give me Leia. It's like, what? Bail Organa, what are you doing? He's like, I'm gonna kill the boy, give me Leia right now.
That's what it goddamn sounds like. He literally says, like, I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm worried. If you don't contact me soon, I'm gonna have to go to Tatooine. Like, he might need some help with the boy. Like, are you threatening me?
Also, like, I love how this show just completely, like, he does all the wrong things. Like, Bail Organa, a Imperial senator who is a leader of a planet, who has countless agents and people to work through to support the rebellion, which is what he did historically, right? No, in this show, he has to do everything himself. He is, for all intents and purposes, no one works for Bail Organa in this show. Bail Organa just has to do everything himself. Kind of great.
Yep. And then this, of course, puts Obi Wan on the spot, because now he's suddenly got a deadline to bring Leia back home. Otherwise, Organa's gonna go to Tatooine and further endanger Luke, which he's already done, but hey, he does. So Obi Wan's like, oh shit, okay, well, I've got to hurry this shit up. So he wanders off, and he decides to molest the door for a little bit. Touches it very gently, stares intently into its soul. And on the other side is, of course, everyone's favored Black Inquisitor, Mos Eisley, or whatever her name was or something.
Actually, I can't remember her name now that you mentioned.
Moses Ingram. That's where I had Mos Eisley from. There you go. So, Mos Eisley is on the other side of the door, and they're speaking to one another through, like, 10 centimeters of solid steel, via vibrations, I guess. I don't know, nor do I frankly care.
They're speaking through the Force, like, sensing you. Oh, I sense that you are a troubled Padawan.
The only thing I care about is Moses Ingram's remarkable sideburns, which looks a little bit like she's trying to work on a beard. That's all I really notice.
It's okay. She has a few cute poses where she's on the ground and looks up and looks kind of sad and adorable. I'm like, oh, pinch your little cheeks.
As of course, we now need the reveal, because you see, this character, he can't be a bad character, she can't be evil, she's black, don't you understand? Those aren't bad people in the Star Wars universe, the Disney universe anyways, and so it turns out she was a Padawan, a little scared Padawan in the temple, who saw Anakin, and that's how she knows it's Vader. Whee!
Yep. And the whole thing is like that she pretended to be dead because Anakin stabbed her through the chest. Don't worry, though. She pretended to be dead. It's not like the Order 66 was thorough or anything. Not like there's tons of survivors every time they add more lore to this thing.
The issue here is like, okay, I get it. As far as knowing who Vader is, this is a halfway reasonable explanation, because a surviving Padawan would know. Here's the problem. There are no surviving Padawans. First of all, this is a child. Well, Leia's supposed to be a child. That's the issue, isn't it? During the Purge, first and foremost, she's shown to be stabbed by a lightsaber. Right, that will kill you right there. That is mass goddamn trauma through the chest. Furthermore, the clone troopers were walking through that entire temple for hours, double tapping and making damn sure there were no survivors. There's even a scene in the prequels where Bail Organa shows up and they kill another Padawan because they've cordoned off the entire place whilst they're going through it. But no, she pretended to be dead.
Don't worry. The more Disney writes lore for this, the more survivors there are. Because people will be like, well, actually, there's all this survivors. Yes, because they keep adding survivors. It's like, oh, well, Order 66 was actually really ineffective. In fact, basically nobody died at this point.
Turns out. Not to mention, too, the one that's leading this purge is Anakin Skywalker, who's just turned to the dark side. Like, at this point, he is already very powerful. He didn't sense the youngling. He didn't sense the fear, the terror, the pain emitting from this fucking youngling, the only survivor in the entire Jedi Temple.
Yep, and they try to write it off as, I knew about that, and I had a plan from then to turn you evil. And it's like, it's so contrived. It's like, no, you didn't. Your entire job there was to purge the temple. That was it. You had no plan about this nonsense. You write that in there, but they just can't help themselves but change everything all the time.
Even
again
that's
and again.
too far-fetched.
It is. It's bad. And that's what their excuse was, because he's like, I knew that you were alive all along, Padawan.
He knew that she was once a youngling, and that I can buy, that he would sense that, but I don't think he planned it from the beginning. That'd be stupid even by Disney standards.
This writer, I would not put it past him, especially considering the line he said. He's like, because he recognized that rage, he's like, that's the same rage. You think I didn't know?
And of course,
Like,
she
he knew all
blames Kenobi. Like, it was your Padawan. Where were you? I was fighting the war. In fact, I was dueling Grievous at the time. I was like busy.
Fighting Grievous, trying to keep the galaxy safe. And then, he did return to the temple, which, again, there's all these things to back it up, because what's the first thing he does? He, as quickly as he can, he sneaks back to the temple and he links up with Yoda to get back to the temple to see if there's any survivors. Unfortunately, there isn't, and then that's when they decide to, make the plan for Yoda to deal with Palpatine, and Ben's gonna try to deal with finishing off Anakin. So they were active characters throughout that entire thing. It's not like they didn't try to save the Republic.
They didn't try. You must understand, Carlius. They failed miserably. And, speaking of failure, this door that the 501st have been trying to blast open with a cannon, well, Mos Eisley just cuts it open in about 5 seconds with her lightsaber, because, she could have done that at any point.
After, we have to have the reveal where they talk to each other, so we find this out. And then as soon as the reveal and the door's plot relevance is gone, she just pokes it with her lightsaber and it just opens immediately.
This entire show is nothing but a long series of retarded plot contrivances that was never given any thought or consideration. As then, of course, the 501st begin storming into the stronghold. And again, I want to point out, too, these aren't just random stormtroopers. These are the 501st. These are Vader's personal stormtroopers about his personal Star Destroyer. They get their asses beat by a bunch of rebels. Like, the rebels start gunning them down. The stormtroopers score, 2 kills in the entire engagement, shooting in against people hemmed together like fish in a barrel. Like, there's one dude holding up a meal tray for a shield.
Yep, and it just blasters around, just hit it and nothing happens.
Also,
I love this scene so much. It's
one
great.
of them has a Wookiee bowcaster, because again, that's just a thing that's scattered through the galaxy.
We can have everybody has everything. There was a scene earlier in this episode where there's just like a bunch of Jedi symbols graffitied onto the wall, because there just is. And then on top of that, there's next to it a couple of boxes, some Jedi robes, and a box filled with lightsabers, 7 of them.
Yep.
That Obi Wan just looks at and it's like, oh, yep, these are just common. You just leave these open and for everyone to see.
Again, they exist there because the show needs Obi Wan to go oh, what have we lost? Look at these robes. Oh, yes.
There used to be Jedi robes for Jedi. It's just bad.
Plot contrivance. And of course it gets worse as we get the old Star Wars banger, where the fully armored stormtroopers die with every shot, no matter what. They always die. One blaster shot, dead stormtrooper. Rebels, meanwhile, there's a woman who catches one straight on, sent him ass, and said, I'm wounded, Obi-Wan, help me. And Obi-Wan's like, I'll save you. Okay. Oh, thank God I wasn't wearing armor. That would have killed me.
Yep.
The only highlight in this entire episode is the death of one of the characters. Thank God.
Technically, too, we lose our Beep Boop, who does a scene from Rogue One, just stolen right out. And then the rebel traitor chick, Imperial officer bitch, blows herself up, which thank God, because honestly, she was annoying.
She gets shot. In the gut. Right in the goddamn gut. And she doesn't even give a shit. She keeps acting just fine. She's on the ground looking up. Oh my God, what's happening? Oh, I'm not really that much pain though. I can fire a blaster. I got a grenade too. Oh Jesus. Nobody dies. Nobody goddamn dies. I hate it so much. The armored stormtroopers, again, one blaster shot anywhere. Their ass is grass. Main characters just shrug that shit off.
Yep, they are totally just fine. And that's honestly the problem with this show. The characters, like the characters that have plot relevance, are just massive, thick shields. And the problem with the storytelling is how they portray danger, right? It's not like the danger's like, oh, you know, it's reasonable. It's like it's absurd, and they're dealing with a situation where they should by all rights be dead. But because they have plot armor, they stay alive until the plot armor is no longer relevant, or their plot thread is over, and it's time for them to die. And it's painfully obvious here. So you have no sense of like stakes here, where you're like, oh, you know, oh, what is she gonna die? Like, is she gonna make it? Like, you don't care. Like, it's pure apathy at this point.
The thing is, an occasional plot contrivance is okay, fair enough. You know, occasionally
here and there.
You forget something maybe, or you didn't think of something, sure. But it's just one after the. It's constant. The only plot is the plot contrivance. As Obi Wan surrenders himself, as oh, Vader's after me, I'll surrender, and he does. He's captured because he surrenders. He has a little heart-to-heart with Reva, who then sends him away with 2 stormtroopers. Nobody reacts to this. They just go into a locked room and both get instantly overmatched by Obi Wan. And then Vader shows up and goes like, "Where is he?" "Well, you see, he broke free just right after I talked to him." Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, that's just that was just painful.
And then we go again. Plot demands it because Leia's fixed the roof, of course. So Vader storms into the room, and you get the scene where there's a spaceship escaping, and he raises his hand and goes like, "No, you don't. I'm Vader. I'm powerful." Ree! And he pulls it to the ground, and for a moment you're like, "My God, it's Lord Vader. Oh my Jesus, he's got poovers and stuff. That's remarkable." And he tears open some of the ship's hull, and then another ship just lifts off and flies away as Vader stares at it, empty-faced.
My favorite part of that scene was I called the whole thing with him grabbing the ship. It's like, yep, he's gonna grab the ship, and then the scene happens, he grabs the ship, and I just hear the biggest sigh from Arch. Just done. He's just clocked out by this point. Oh, but it's okay. We're still not to the end of the episode, because this pain only continues right after the dropship sequence. Then finally the High Inquisitor bitch is like, now's the time to make my move, now that, you know, Obi-Wan, now that Vader no longer has any distractions, now that he's able to fully turn his attention to me. Isn't that a fantastic idea?
I just hate it so much. Like, they show Vader doing a thing, and then he doesn't do the thing next time. It's the exact same as with the fire sequence, when he drags Obi-Wan through the fire, and then, when Obi-Wan is being rescued, he just like, "No, yeah, I'm done here. I'm gonna go home now."
Best part about that sequence is that the people defending are like, "Yeah, but the flames were out of control, and because it was out of control, it's so deep because it shows that he still can't control his fear of fire, even though he's in a fireproof suit, and that fire literally can't hurt him.
Yep.
Like, he's literally safe."
Not to mention, again, he's Darth Vader. If he could just put out the flames, he could pull a spaceship from the sky. Oh yeah, and then we're moving on to goddamn Moses Ingram going like, "So Vader, I see you're no longer distracted. Obi-Wan's not here anymore to capture your attention. Our little retarded plan has completely failed. Here!" It's just the dumbest ambush. The only redeeming feature of this tarded ass fight scene is that at least Vader treats her like the third-rate sewer trash she is, and doesn't even deign to draw his lightsaber. Just beats the shit out of her with the Force alone until he grabs her lightsaber, breaks it in 2. Bear that in mind, by the way, and then grabs one. Gives her the other half, like, "Okay, fine, let's do this shit too, I guess."
Yep, and then they have like a little lame-ass fight, and it's really boring to watch, honestly. And obviously Vader wins. There's a flashback sequence of her being like, of what really happened in the temple, and he stabs her. And then we find out that nobody's ever really gone, because the High Lord Inquisitor, the real one she thought she killed, walks, up and is like, I'm not dead because the plot demanded I'm alive.
They don't explain why he's not dead. They don't show why he's not dead. He's just not dead. There you go.
He's like, I didn't die because I'm so evil.
I didn't die because this was the plan all along. And so Darth Vader stabs the chick, and she doesn't die. She's fine. She waffles around on the ground for a little bit. It's like, oh, that kinda hurts. Doesn't care.
I know you stabbed me through the chest with like a literal magma sword that should make my organs explode from the heat. But I think I'm gonna be all right, actually, because she fumbles her way over to the conveniently dropped little communicator, which conveniently tells her that Obi Wan's on her way to Tatooine, so that we can find out that the High Lord Inquisitor lady was actually the good character all along, and she's gonna actually end up stealing the show, unironically. That's where this is going.
Communicator. First and foremost, she drags her ass over to her lightsaber, which is now whole again. Which Vader dropped on the ground in front of her, like, here, have this back, you'll need it.
I remended the lightsaber. You're gonna need this for when you fight me later and join Obi Wan.
It'll be really useful, trust me. But yes, like, we get reintroduced to the charlatan from episode 2, who's now a rebel, of course, and just as annoying as always. And he drops Obi-Wan's phone on the ground so that Moses can find it, and go like, Bail Organa, Tatooine,
Yep. But don't worry, she's gonna be a good guy now. Maybe she still has yet to go through her good guy arc, where she's gonna, try to buddy up to Vader one more time or something. But I doubt that. Like, it's clear that they're setting up her good guy arc, where she's like, actually, I understand, and Obi-Wan taught me the power of the good guys again. I'm gonna fight the Vader. But the thing is, we already know she can't win. Like, we already know that Vader's gonna win no matter what, or live at least.
Oh, I'm sure she can win eventually. She just needs the power of friendship and magic.
Yep, she'll one-up Vader maybe in like the final fight or something. So that Vader looks dumb.
Too. How is she going to get to Luke, though? She's left for dead on a planet with no transportation. Well, first and foremost, she's left for dead because the High Inquisitor and Vader was just like, meh, she's written in the plot, she's alive. Oh, by the way, give her a lightsaber back, otherwise that'd be a problem too. At least Obi-Wan's gonna reach Luke first, right? All he needs to do now is drop off Leia in the spaceship, and then they're good, right? Nah, their warp engine don't work no more, because you know exactly why.
Yet again, the plot just railroads the story. Like, the story just feels like it's so on rails here.
And it's dumb to even. I feel like it's almost a waste of time at this point, but once again, there's the Star Destroyer in orbit over the planet, directly over the hidden base, whilst the rebels leave. They just fly up and away. There are no TIE fighters, there are no interceptors, the Star Destroyer doesn't just shoot them down, it's just...
It's great, isn't it? They have a literal Star Destroyer in orbit. Literal wings of TIE fighters that can be mobilized against a shitty little dinky transport that has no chance of escaping. But they're fine. They get away.
I don't understand how writers and directors like these get jobs. Or actually, kind of, I do. Because I talked about this in the video I did just yesterday. About how when they were screening this show to their bunch of sycophantic puppets, like, they couldn't even spot the fact that obvious charlatan wasn't a Jedi. They're like, oh my god, it's a Jedi. Why, that's weird. Was there another survivor? Like, oh my god. These are mouth-breathing morons. These are actual legitimate medical retards. Like, it's not a slur, YouTube. It's an actual observable fact, and you cannot debate me on this. I will win.
This is actually, medically speaking, scientific, okay?
Literally.
We have proof.
Yeah, no, show the scene of Leia going like, I'm the only one small enough to fit inside the vent, to any medical professional, and he'll go, yeah, that's retarded.
Yeah, clinically brain dead.
How did they get the wiring in there to begin with? Well, they had other children, I guess. Wait, are you suggesting the Rebel Alliance use slave labor of children? Yeah.
You know, well, another point to the Empire. Mark that down. Maybe
Okay,
order,
okay.
it comes... Maybe that's the kind of order we need in the galaxy.
Clearly, order has many benefits. It's abolished child slavery is one of them. It's... God damn it. The show just keeps getting worse, and it's because at this point you can clearly tell they've just lost the plot completely, and they have only the broadest of plot points, and they just kind of... I bet you they wrote the bullet points for this garbage, and then just showed up on set and was like, well, make it work. Make it work. It'll be fine.
It's just not fun. Like, the show isn't fun. Like, even the fight sequences, even the scene where the stormtroopers are, like, breaking into the base and the little outpost and the little rebels are shooting back. Like, it's not fun to watch because it's just bad.
It's also because of the awful cutting and editing. It's constantly, there's lots of bright, super flashing lights, everything's exploding, whilst you get tons of ridiculous jump cuts, so your eyes never get used to the flashes. Like, if you're watching the prequels, whenever there's a firefight, there's usually a fairly lengthy shot of pew, 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 so you see the beams flying back and forth and shit. Here it's jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, which just bombards your eyes with flashing lights to the point that you can't even see what's going on anymore.
I'm expecting... Yeah, during the fight sequence, I made a passing joke about there should be an epilepsy warning on that fight. Because of the jump cuts and the lights. Like, you're gonna have a friggin' seizure.
You are.
It is bad. It was painful to watch. I didn't really know what was happening outside of a few sequences where the camera would hold still for a minute. Like, the fight, the actual... And then when it did, it was horrible. Like, the stormtroopers are piling into this room, like, point blank, like, with the rebel dudes, and they're shooting at him, but, like, the rebels are just fine and downing them just fine. Like, it was painful to watch. And this is supposed to be the 501st, battle-hardened soldiers now. This is not good. This was bad.
It was exactly what anyone should expect. That's what it was.
In this show? Yes, definitely. This show is, the fight scenes are painful. Even the flashback where you see Obi Wan and Anakin fighting again, and at first you're like, yeah, it looks kind of nice, but like the choreography, the camera working is actually just not good.
Well,
which is just bad.
Oldie One and
Oldie One and
Oldakin. At least their fight was probably the best part, because at least they put a little bit of energy into it. They were channeling a bit of that prequel sword fighting.
It sort of felt like it, yeah, but it felt weird, like they were rustic, like they weren't really in the flow.
Of course,
like as the actors,
rusty because they haven't done this shit for decades. And apparently, Disney also didn't do any practice. Like, they didn't even hire or pay the stunt doubles to do the stuff, so there was no choreography training or anything like that, which is why it all looks so improvised and hacky.
Yeah, if you watch the prequels and the behind-the-scenes developer cuts, like Obi Wan and Anakin, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor practiced regularly. So much that when they were waiting in line for food, for sandwiches on break or something, they were literally like practice play fighting, just to get it down right, to keep it feeling smooth and good. Because if you ever watch their fight between them in Battle of Heroes, and during Revenge of the Sith, it looks like emotional. Yeah, the choreography, like the fighting, isn't accurate because they're doing flips and twirls, but it looks like they're flowing and moving, like they're trying to do something there. Here, not. Here it looks stiff and painful to watch.
Ah, God. And I could do an entire video just talking about the Grand Inquisitor retarded fake-out thing. Because here's the problem with fake-out. Yeah. When you show a character be stabbed through the torso with a lightsaber, that's no longer Keiko Kudori, that's life-crippling injury. That's your lungs, your guts, your innards boiled away. It's not. You don't fix it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's this episode. Like I don't know about you, but I was honestly not expecting much, especially considering the previous one. Honestly, it sort of did what we've been sadly expecting of it. It's continuing to disappoint. It's very much just following the motions, like it, and like you said earlier, we mentioned that too. Like it's lost the plot. It doesn't even really know where it's going. Like it sort of feels like a mess. Like it was very sham-shackled. Like the writers didn't think this through at all.
Oh God. I just did one pause. I was looking through the video. The rebels, one of them is armed with an actual just pipe. He's just fighting off the 501st with a pipe.
Yep, they actually go into hand-to-hand combat, which is great.
Yep,
the 501st are veterans.
He's beating
by the
a stormtrooper to death with a pipe. Just a oh God damn it.
The 501st, man, they really have fallen. They really have
just a pipe. Just a goddamn pipe.
Because they did a great job in the original trilogies. Because in the Battle of Hoth, that was the 501st again, the ones that were breaching the Echo base, and they murder fucked their way through the entire compound. Like here, they're getting murder fucked by a bunch of not even rebel soldiers. Honestly, these are more like refugee dudes that so happen to have guns.
They're armed refugees. They're not rebels even yet.
Like barely a militia is what I would call them. Barely a militia. And they get murder fucked by these dudes.
Such is life. And we end with a shot of little Luke Skywalker lying in his bed going, Jesus, I hope my shadowy guardian hasn't done something incredibly stupid to put my unbelievably important life at risk today.
It would be a real shame if the next episode's gonna be about maybe me or something getting in danger. Or it'd be a real shame if Obi Wan, ended up fucking up all the time. That it's a miracle I even made it to adulthood.
Obi Wan even has a little disturbance in the Force moment. Like Yoda's in his swamp right now, going, Obi Wan, fuck up he is. Oh.
Obi Wan, fuck up he is. I swear to God.
And enter my plan he is.
And like Obi Wan, we talked about this plan. How did you and Bail fuck up so much? Fuck up you did. Fuck up you did.
Fuck up you are. Yes.
I half expect to see Yoda arrive to unfuck the situation because it's gotten that bad. Yoda's gonna have to come out of hiding.
Like Moses Ingram walks into the hut, he slashes down on Luke to kill him in his sleep. Green lightsaber just whooshes out of the night like moaning noises. Oh God damn it.
He'd be making moaning noises because he'd be like, "Why the fuck am I here?" Like the plan was that I'd wait in hiding till you got them all ready, you monkey. That's why Yoda went in exile. Yoda's actually gonna have to come out of exile to unfuck the situation.
God damn. This needs to end. How? I think it's ending soon. I think there's only there's like 3 episodes left. God damn it.
Oh, they've already renewed. I think they've already said there's gonna be another season.
I don't want another season.
Oh, fun fact for those who are unaware, they're rewriting the ending of this show to justify a new season. And they're not reshooting it. They are reclipping and editing it. So it's gonna be a fucking mess. God help me.